Everybody, welcome to the August 8th monthly regular Board of Supervisors meeting of Robinson Township. Call the meeting to order at 6:06 p.m. Would everybody please rise for the pledge of allegiance?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Ready? Okay, let's do roll call. Roger Kendall, Chairman.
Present.
Mary Donaldson, Vice Chairman.
Present.
Regis Curtis, Supervisor.
Here.
Gretchen Moore, Solicitor. Here. Chief Mark Dorsey, Zoning Officer.
Here.
And Monica Miller, here.
Okay. With all three board members present, we have a quorum. This time we will take public discussion on the items on the agenda that are to be voted on only. Please come to the podium, state your name and address, and please limit yourself to 3 minutes.
I just have two real quick ones. Cat Lodge. The first one is on Schaefer Road, we're gonna make repairs, or hopefully making repairs. And I wanted to know if anybody from the township approached Max Environment to see if they would donate or contribute, since that's at the bottom of their property. And I recognize it goes into Smith Township, but I thought it might be worth just talking with them. And the other thing is, I wasn't here last week, but perhaps in the minutes this is incorrect, because third prize for this contest.
Yeah, we
Yes.
got it already. Thanks for pointing out my
You're welcome. All right, that's all.
Nobody wants first.
And I'm not even putting.
No, I'm going for third.
I'm not put that comment in the minutes for next time, okay? Because we already got that.
That's fine.
Okay. Anybody else? Okay. Takes us to approval of minutes from the Board of Supervisors meeting from July 11th. With the exception of the should be dollar sign on 4. Everybody okay with the minutes?
Yeah.
Good with that? Okay, I make a motion to approve the minutes from the Board of Supervisors meeting on July 11th.
Second.
Okay, it's been properly moved and seconded to approve the minutes from the Board of Supervisors meeting from July 11th. Roll call vote. Mrs. Donaldson?
I will abstain due to a family emergency. I was not present for the meeting.
Thank you. Mr. Curtis?
Yes.
My vote is yes. Motion carries. Next item on the agenda is the authorization of the payment of bills and payroll for the month of July. Any discussion or question? Good?
I'm good.
Good. Okay, I move to authorize for the payment of the bills and payrolls for the month of July.
I'll second.
Okay, it's been properly moved and seconded to pay the bills and the payroll for the month of July. Roll call vote. Mrs. Donaldson?
Yes.
Mr. Curtis?
Yes.
My vote is yes. Motion carries. Next item is the approval of the correspondence for the month of July. I have hardly anything, did we?
Not really, and
Or actually, I don't think you sent me anything.
no, I didn't. I'm sorry, there's nothing going on.
All right, we'll just pass over that. Takes us to reports. Fire department reports are on file. I'm not sure it is. Anybody want to read a police report? You guys just want to have it on file?
On file.
On file.
Well, I don't know if the police officer wants to read the police report.
I can, you guys. You want me to?
Sure.
I didn't proofread it, so bear with me here.
That's it.
Just don't mention names.
This meeting, or this report's dated between the 26th of June 2016 and the 25th of July 2016. McDonald Police Service 57 calls. There was 2 accident investigations, 6 alarms, 3 animal complaints, 2 assist motorists, 1 assist other agency, 1 ATV complaint, 3 civil complaints, 9 disturbances, 2 domestics, 1 DUI, 1 fire or medical call, 4 general information calls, 2 harassment calls, 3 ordinance violations, 6 special details, 6 suspicious activities, 1 welfare check, and looks like of those there was 4 criminal arrests and 15 traffic citations issued. And that's all.
Thank you. Zoning's on file, correct? Yep. Animal control's also on file. Supervisors? You have anything?
No, I have none.
Good. You want to mention that?
Yeah, I had a call from a lady that lives on Valley Street, her name's Lisa, and I actually, let Monica handle some of it. She wanted a stop sign or something put down on Valley Street for the people that are speeding, and I did speak with, she said she had been working with Supervisor Duran in the past and Representative Ortite. And I did, like I said, speak with Monica. She couldn't find anything at the township building relating to this, so I did speak with Representative Ortite, and he said he would work with Chief Dorsey to see if we could get somebody down there, maybe to sit on one of the streets and catch the speeders on Valley.
Where's this at on Valley, Mary?
I don't know, you may have to, I can get you the lady's name. Her first name is Lisa, and she's down on Valley Street.
Lisa, yeah, I know who you mean.
Yeah.
I know who you mean. She's requesting a stop sign?
Yes, actually, she said that Steve, Supervisor Duran and Representative Ortite had been working on getting a stop sign for down there. And when I talked to Representative Ortite, he said that is true. He just did not know, the paperwork was started, but he did not know where it was or where in the process we were with that.
I'll follow up on that.
Yeah, so you can follow up on that. And Representative Ortite said if she had any questions, then he can, she can follow up with him as well. But as far as the paperwork that was started, he has no idea where it is or what the stages were of that, so. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Mhm.
You're good? Okay. Solicitor's report?
Thank you.
Move on those things.
First and foremost, I want to announce that we have had 2 executive sessions in the time between the last meeting and tonight's meeting. We had an executive session with the board on July 22nd, and that was regarding litigation pending related to the gun club. We had an executive session this evening, right before this meeting, regarding a lawsuit that is pending before the Supreme Court. Other than that, we've been involved. We had our second and final day of the gun club hearing, so that hearing is now closed and complete. We'll be submitting findings next week, I believe. We've been dealing with day-to-day legal matters with Monica and the supervisors, specifically related to several road projects and grants. We drafted the logo competition rules and regulations, so they are almost ready to go. We've been doing a little research regarding the International Property Maintenance Code, and probably in the coming months, we'll be looking to upgrade and change the property maintenance code that we're utilizing, but that's would be an ordinance change, and that would go through a public process, so keep your eyes out for that. There is some information I wanted to share with the board and with the township regarding a pending case before the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court granted aliquotter in a case called Gorslein versus the Fairfield Township Board of Supervisors and Inflection Energy. Several parties are submitting amicus briefs. Those are essentially friend of the court briefs in support of one side or another. The case deals with very important issues regarding zoning and local control related to oil and gas drilling. So I raised it to the supervisor's attention so that they are well versed in what's going on in that case. There are several municipalities who are looking into and engaging interest in filing an amicus brief in support of essentially the other side, so the appellants were the landowners. Those briefs have been filed, and the appellees have not yet filed their briefs, but municipalities in the area are talking about their interest in gaining support. I have suggested to Robinson Township and asked if they are interested in putting their support and their name behind an amicus brief for the appellee. And I've given them the background on the case. I believe the case raises important issues, and there are, taking that stand would be consistent with where this township has stood before, and positions it's taken related to oil and gas drilling. So I wanted to put that before the board. If they do want to vote tonight to, one, put their backing behind and actually be a named party for an amicus brief in that lawsuit. Time is kind of the essence because the briefs are due before the next meeting, so I wanted to get this out there now. And two, if they are willing to give any financial backing, I know there are other entities who may be interested in giving financial backing as well. So I put that before you if you want to raise that at some point tonight. It certainly would be a new topic and it would be open to public discussion because it's not currently on the agenda.
Thank you. Okay, under Public Works, the companies we hired out to are almost 100% complete and all the paving is going on. This week the guys are heading over to help Mount Pleasant do some tar and chipping, and then later in August into September, Mount Pleasant's going to come over and help us do some berming on the sides of the roads, bringing some of their equipment over here. Most of the repairs to Valley View, Sunny Hill, Washington, and what would have been Campbell have all been taken care of with the associated pipeline money. They're going to be finishing up with Washington sometime this week. And they're also planning on starting to get some tree trimming, just our guys doing tree trimming on the sides of the roads. A lot of them are growing in. And we're going to get some help from McDonald on that because we help them all the time. That's about it on the direct part of the Public Works, which there's more to it than that, but we'll get into that in a few minutes. So, everybody good with all the reports?
Yeah.
Okay, make a motion to accept all reports.
I'll second it.
Okay, it's been properly moved and seconded to accept all reports. Roll call vote. Mrs. Donaldson?
Yes.
Mr. Curtis?
Yes.
My vote is yes. Motion carries. Okay, that moves us into new business. Very first thing we have, we're going to take some comments from Range Resources regarding some major work they would like to do to Campbell Road to improve it for us.
Well, thank you, Board of Supervisors. All of you know me. My name is Jocelyn Brunko. I'm the Government Affairs Analyst with Range Resources. And I just want to thank the township for allowing me the opportunity to speak and address any questions or comments that you have this evening. As you are aware, as Range has communicated to the township and to the Public Works and road staff, we have begun work on Campbell Road. This work is considered a full depth reclamation of Campbell Road. So if you are familiar with the work that we've done on Maple Grove Road or Valley View Road or Foley Road, this work is comparable to that work that we did back in 2014. We've discussed this with the township. We've sent out our civil engineer to meet with Monica, and I know that they've been in touch with John and Bernie, or maybe just John on the road crew. And I've submitted to the township the pavement design report that we intend to do and some drawings for your engineer to look at if they would like as well, so you have those on file. The reason why we're doing this work is because we have plans to build the Robinson Campbell well site, which has been permitted in the township. And we have plans to do that in the near future. So as it was originally approved, this site, we will utilize Campbell Road to access this site. And we are doing the full depth reclamation. We estimate it's a savings of about $750,000 to the township. And in addition to that, I know we sent out a land agent, a representative of Range, to meet with residents of Campbell Road to provide just open lines of communication to them. I don't know if they have, residents should have our response center contact information, but if they don't, I can leave that with Monica, or I can leave that with anybody that might have questions this evening as well. Do you have any questions for me?
Not exactly questions, more like comments. I'll just give it, since I spoke with Matt. What they're planning to do is to replace every single pipe crossing from one end of Campbell Road to the other. The ones that are watered off, the old tin whistle ones and so on. In certain places, they'll put culvert boxes where necessary, and then they'll widen the road to 18 feet so that you can actually pass a car without running into the bank or trees or wherever you have to hit. And then they'll come, after that's all in, they'll put French drain pipes down both sides of the road the entire length. And then the FDR she's talking about is where they bring the big rototiller in, grind it up about a foot deep, mix in cement with it, pack it back in, and then put 3 inches of blacktop on top of it. Which, if anybody's traveled on Maple Grove, Fuller, that one section of Valley View, the road is
Outstanding,
as I said, if anybody had a complaint about that, I don't know what the complaint would be other than it's smooth. But anyway, that's what they're doing for us for absolutely no cost to the township whatsoever. So the money that we had planned on putting into Campbell Road to semi-patch it back up was now able to be put into Washington. And we're paving certain sections of Washington from the church all the way down around. So the money was able to be redirected instead of fixing that, so.
And just to follow up on those comments as well, all of this work, we anticipate, weather permitting, we anticipate this work to last about 1 month. During no point in time should the road be closed by any means. We will have portions of the road that you can't travel on, but we have signage and appropriate personnel to address and direct traffic. Okay? Well, thank you.
They're doing guardrails as well, right? In a couple of sections where there's guardrail needed, from what Matt said, from what I understand.
If
so.
Matt said that, then yes.
Okay. Okay. You guys have any questions?
No, I'm good with it.
Okay,
All right,
well,
thank
thank you.
Okay. If there's no further discussion, make a motion to accept Range's offer to repair Campbell Road.
I'll second that.
Roger, I would just
Sure. Go ahead.
make it subject to our engineers taking a look at the plans, I think. I don't know if they have yet already, but
I spoke with John out today.
Okay.
And he said he saw, he didn't give substantive yet, but he said it didn't seem like there was gonna be any issues, so.
right.
Okay, it's been properly moved and seconded to accept Range's offer to repair Campbell Road for us. Roll call vote, Mrs. Donaldson?
Can I vote since I live on that road?
Well, let's think about that. We're not spending any money, so I don't see why you
you're
can't.
not, I just wanna make sure. If you
Yeah.
felt at all uncomfortable,
No,
Do you want-
you wanted to
I'm
recuse
Do you
yourself,
like
you
the-
could,
Do you
but
like the road the way it is? We can ask them.
Oh, no, I like Maple Grove Road.
Okay. Is that a yes?
that's it.
All right. Mr. Curtis?
Yes.
My vote is yes. Motion carries.
Oh, we're gonna cross out number C for the snowplow bid, because, we extended it, we extended the bidding to next month.
Did we get any offers yet?
Yeah, but they were low yet, so,
We ain't giving it away.
No, Debbie didn't like them, so she said, no, we're gonna do another month. So I let her make that
Yeah,
decision.
that's fine. Okay, so C is struck. Okay, D, we actually did last month. Was one of our agenda last month. That must be a typo. Motion to buy a plow.
Right, you guys did do that.
Yeah.
Did we do?
The Western 10-foot,
Did we? I thought we did.
is that the same one?
Is it the same
Well,
one?
no,
All right, well,
it's-
cross that one off too then. I didn't think we
Yeah.
voted.
Is it one and the same?
Well, no, it's, we had made a motion last month to sell the plow that we currently have, because it's too heavy. And then we made a motion to purchase the Western plow, which is,
Right, so,
which is
and that's the same one as this one?
less than that.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
cross
that's-
that off.
that's-
I'm so sorry. It's been
Okay.
a bad couple of weeks.
All right, well, since we have a gap in our letters, which is gonna screw things up,
My apple pie.
how about we insert a motion here in discussion to, first we'll have a little bit of board discussion, then we'll open up the public. The brief that you were speaking of is more. My motion would be, if we forward with it, to have Strasburg and McKenna draft a brief letter. Or how would you phrase it?
Correct, it's an amicus brief. There would be other parties, although we can't say exactly who is going to be joining yet because other townships haven't voted yet and brought to a vote in a public meeting, but it would be the drafting of an amicus brief in the Supreme Court case that I mentioned, which is Forsling versus Fairfield Township Board of Supervisors versus Inflection Energy.
Okay. Anything you want to discuss, you're gonna wait till we open up the public.
No, actually, I'm good with it.
Ms. Dawson? Okay, this time, since we're adding a new motion to the agenda, we will open up for public discussion. The motion is about to be made, possibly, to have our solicitor draft a amicus brief in light of, am I saying that right? In light of the court case, that sound right?
We would actually be filing it in the Supreme Court
In the
case.
Supreme Court.
Right.
Okay. So if you have any comments, please come up to the podium, state your name and address, please limit yourself to 3 minutes.
Okay. Gretchen, it is my understanding that the township, you're the township solicitor and you represent the supervisors. But I take issue with the fact you do not go out and seek their business as you're doing to file an amicus brief. It is your opinion that Robinson Township taxpayers, all of us, want to pay for this amicus brief to be filed on the side of industry. This is only your opinion, not mine or others in the township. You have not advertised this idea and are attempting to rush this approval through. As a taxpayer and someone who values their health, I do not want Robinson Township to participate in this brief supporting industry. Rather, I encourage that the township support those opposing inflection and be on the side of health.
Thank you.
Anybody else?
How much would that cost?
It's up to the Board of Supervisors, one, whether they even want to be a named party in this brief, and two, whether they want to offer any money in support of this brief. There'll be other townships participating as well, but that'd be up to the Board of Supervisors. It's their ultimate decision as to whether they want to participate and whether they want to participate at what amount to assist.
And is it my understanding, or am I wrong, that this is just the Act 13 that went through and the Supreme Court voted down sections of it? This is just another way to support those sections that got voted down? Or some of those sections?
Not exactly. The issues on appeal for Alicotter have to do with the first one. I can read the first one for you, and I have them all here if you'd like to read the issues that are up on appeal. But the first question that was granted for appeal was, does the Commonwealth Court's decision below, meaning in the below case here, that an industrial shale gas development is similar and compatible with uses expressly permitted in an RA district conflict with this court's decision in Robinson Township. So while there are references to the previous Robinson Township line of cases that may be addressed by the Supreme Court this time around, this is a different type of case. The Robinson case had to do with a statewide law, this has to do with a particular oil and gas drilling in a particular township. However, there are implications that will reference and perhaps further illuminate what the Supreme Court meant in the Robinson case.
Okay, so we're going to be spending money to ask them to undo what we spent money to ask them to do.
Not necessarily. First of all, the board will vote to determine what they want to do. But it wouldn't be overturning what the Supreme Court had decided in Robinson. They'd be deciding this particular issue, but as I said, there is a nod to what they meant in Robinson, so they may be further fleshing out some of those issues in this particular case.
And why would it benefit Robinson Township? I mean, why don't we keep our money here, keep our actions here, and work on our township? I mean, every time we mention something as, well, we don't want to spend money, we don't want to spend money, we're careful, we're careful, we're careful. Now all of a sudden we're gonna, join somebody that isn't here, and like Kat said, really without speaking to the people in the township.
Well, the board will make that decision, and that's what their job is. I mean, they were voted in to make decisions on behalf of the township. I don't believe it would be a lot of money they'd be offering. They certainly wouldn't be backing the entire Supreme Court brief, I wouldn't imagine. But it is an important issue. There are a lot of interveners already and people filing amicus briefs on both sides. Several local townships are involved already. So it is an important legal issue, and it may be one that they would like to at least take a stand on.
Anybody else? You want any comments you want to make?
No, I'm good. Looking through it right now.
Okay. And yourself? Okay. Need to write a motion. Need your assistance in writing a motion, so I motion it correctly. Motion to direct Strasburg County.
Right, so it would be a motion for Robinson Township to be a named party in an amicus brief. One of the named parties.
How do you spell amicus?
AMICUS. And if you'd like to write the case, it could be in the Gorsling versus Fairfield Township Board of Supervisors case.
What was the name?
Gorsling, Gorsline.
Versus Battlefield?
Fairfield.
Fairfield.
Roger, is public speaking over?
No, if you want to say something, that's fine. Just.
I don't know anything at all about this, well, very little about this, but, oh.
Now, I drug that podium.
I know.
Over here, so
Yeah,
people
plus
had a
see,
nice
she
place
didn't
to
give me her
come and
name or
talk.
nothing, so I've got nothing for her.
Okay, Karen Brockman, Midway.
What's your name?
Karen Brockman. I just have a question as sitting here learning all about this. Because it's going to be reported in the paper, and it's going to have you, I mean, it's going to be in the minutes and everything. Why are you doing this?
Why am I doing this?
No, why is
Or
this?
why-
Yeah, why are you guys doing this? What do you gain? How does this help the township? Why do you spend the money?
Well, that's a good question, and this board, the previous boards have been very involved in other litigation that had, huge statewide implications. And they were involved in that for quite some time. And, governmental entities at all kinds of levels make decisions to participate in important legal decisions, especially one that's before the Supreme Court of Pennsylvania, which is rare for something to get to that place. So, there are important legal issues and implications for.
How's it gonna help the people of Robeson Township? Why are they involved? I mean, you guys, I sit here, you guys, you do roads and you do lots of good things and, money is a thing, and this just seems to be frivolous, like, there's no.
It's actually not frivolous. I'm not a lawyer by any part.
I'm not either.
But it's, the board, as boards of townships, state their opinion by filing briefs. In the past, when Robinson, and I believe there was 4 other townships that were involved in the Act 13 case, multiple other townships, and not just townships, but boroughs had sent letters to Robinson stating, we're on your side. In that situation, it was, the state was trying to write straight up, this is the law across the entire state, taking the township's ability away to write its own ordinances. That was, it was a whole lot more than that, but that's the highlight.
Okay.
So the state semi-settled the situation by saying, we'll allow you to do this, but they left this entirely enormous gray area, very indescriptive. That sound about right? That they didn't really answer any questions directly, and created a lot of issues. So there's an issue in this situation where the community challenged the township's zoning ordinance because they had no language in there. Now, if the state makes a ruling, it will affect everything. Because, am I saying that case law? You want to explain that part about case law? How once the court makes a decision,
Yeah, goes over.
you're stuck there.
Right, well,
So if you fight a
especially when
bad
the Supreme Court speaks, depending on what it says, it has before it a very specific issue related to this particular well in this township, but, when the Supreme Court speaks, it could say things that have implications statewide. And if this township feels it's important to, make a statement to the Supreme Court about its position and the position of other businesses and townships and whoever else is interested in filing an amicus brief, it's a political statement, it's a decision that they make that they believe is in the best interest of the township to at least state their opinion and try to influence the Supreme Court before it makes its decision. That could have implications for everybody.
It'll just be interesting down the road to see, this is you're gonna spend thousands here. You're gonna have lawyers and everything else, and I just wondered why, what's the benefit?
Well,
You don't have to tell me that.
I would gladly give it to you in full detail if I knew it.
Yeah.
But the highlight part is, if you don't, it's the same as when people come in here and speak. You just want to say your piece, you want them to know where you stand on it. If no one objects to what's about to take place, then the state assumes that everybody's fine with it, and they'll roll however they roll. If multiple people, communities, townships, boroughs, and so on, send in briefs stating we are opposed to this,
Then they'll roll the way they want to roll.
there's always that
They
chance.
still may.
Yes.
You don't know how much influence you're going to have, but if you don't say something,
The
there's no chance.
the oil and gas industry is very profitable to this township.
Yes, it is.
We collect 29,000.
So you want to support them?
We want to not push the industry out, yes.
Okay, you want to support this Supreme Court thing because you're supporting the industry, so that way that's how you benefit.
I would say
If the industry is driven away, the $225,000 roughly dollars a year that we collect will go away. Which currently right now, we collect, I believe they bumped it up to about $118,000 that the state gives us to take care of 21 miles of roads. $118,000 to not go very far. So we don't want to say dip in because you're allowed to use it for roads. We use a big portion of that Act 13 money to repair all these roads that we're doing. And the day.
Well, that explains
But I mean, that's
a
why
lot of
we.
why you're
we
going
back
after
that,
this,
yes. So, there is a financial benefit to the township to protect ourselves from these laws.
Okay.
And
Can I get your address, please?
If that makes sense.
422 Prospect Street, Midway.
Thanks.
Pardon?
Thank you.
Uh-huh.
Can I just ask one last question? Can this not be advertised before this vote? Because again, like Roger, like you said, you come here and you give your opinion, but you're allowing just us in the room here. It's kind of the same old people. You're not allowing all of Robinson Township to have an opinion, to voice a say in this. And this is a pretty big deal. I mean, it is, and you have said it, you've spoken to the fact that it is going to the Supreme Court. You're assuming that we're all in agreement on that, and I just am saying, I don't think that we are, and I think it should be opened up for the public, not this quick decision, get it in. I think that's wrong. I think that's terrible that you're trying to rush this through.
No one is rushing anything through.
Well, then don't make the decision tonight, table it.
John Campbell, 738 Campbell Road, Baldwin, Pennsylvania. I'd like to make one point. I think 98% of the residents in Robinson Township are in favor of this. There's only 2 or 3 people that constantly, every township they go to, they complain about the same things. So 98% of Robinson Township is in favor of what you might do tonight.
It's your
Thanks.
opinion.
And let me just speak to the advertising issue. There is no requirement to advertise before the board decides to file an amicus brief and expend perhaps a small amount of funds to do so. There's no requirement to advertise, and ultimately, the board is your elected officials, and they will make a decision whether they want to, be a part of it by filing an amicus brief. It's not like being a party to a lawsuit, which is very different. Filing an amicus brief is literally filing a Supreme Court brief stating your position. And that's essentially the beginning and the end of it.
All right, back to my motion. Where I left off. Let me find where I'm at, because I wrote it all around it.
You motion, you're waiting for a second.
Motion, well, I didn't finish writing it. Motion for Robinson Township to be one of the named parties in amicus brief,
Gorsline, Gorsline.
G or C?
G.
G, Gorsline versus Fairfield Township, that's as far as I got.
Yeah, that's fine
That's
for the
enough.
title.
Okay. And, would someone on the board like to raise a number or limit we want to spend? Or would you have a suggested, I mean, we don't want to spend, we're not going to spend 10 grand on this, so what,
Right, I mean, I could make it.
we can up it if we have to at some point in life where you can get support from other communities as well.
Right, I mean, I could make a suggestion
That's fine.
to cap it at, something like you would spend no more than $4,000, but we would actively seek support from other entities and businesses to pitch in, and that, we would utilize the lowest amounts possible from Robinson Township.
Okay.
That's just a suggestion.
You all right with that number?
Yeah, I am.
You with that number? All right, I'll add it. And in the motion, I'm gonna add in, not to
Not to
exceed
exceed.
$4,000. Okay. Do I have a second on that?
I'll second it.
Okay, it's been properly moved and seconded to appoint our solicitor to write a amicus brief on the Gorsline versus Fairfield case to the state Supreme Court, and our expenses are not to exceed $4,000. Roll call vote, Mrs. Donaldson,
Yes.
Mr. Curtis,
Yes?
my vote is yes. Motion carries. Okay. Next thing that takes us to is the motion to repair Schaefer Road. This time of the money we had set aside in the budget, we have $6,000 left on it, or Ms. Miller? Roughly $6,000
In what?
for leftover in the
Yep.
budget money for the rest.
Yes.
Okay, so we have $6,000 left over from all the repairs that were done of roads that had nothing to do with associated pipeline. We had planned on renting a machine. We were gonna split the cost with Mount Pleasant. And this machine has that paddle wheel thing that you see that goes along and picks up the dirt after you dig the berm of the road out the shoulders. Mount Pleasant bought their own machine and said that they could come over and run it for us so we don't have to rent one. So in not spending the $7,500 to rent the machine, the road crew requested that we allot them that money so that they were able to pave Schaefer Road. And who here has been down Schaefer Road recently? Anybody? You have, haven't you? You live there somewhere. You have a boat there. Yeah. You don't drive yet either. How is it as a passenger? So anyway, their request is that we allot them the additional $7,500 in lieu of renting a machine and let them put that toward paving. They said with that amount of money, they could get about 166 tons of blacktop, which should do almost all the way to the bottom of the hill. And we'll take that.
From the main road.
Well, it's already partially paved. I'm gonna start from where the pavement stops and then go down the hill from there. Do you have any thoughts on that? You good on that?
Yeah, so Kathy did mention about asking Max Environmental, was that, since we have the money, or?
We can call them tomorrow and ask it.
Just ask the question.
What about Max Environmental?
See if they wanted to throw any money into fixing, they don't use that road.
Is it
so-
Schaefer Road?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'll talk to him tomorrow.
just raise the question, and
Yeah.
if no,
You
then
know,
we
we'll-
can still proceed.
We can proceed with the vote, and if they give the money to someone else, then.
Right,
But I don't
exactly.
think they're gonna do that for you.
Could I ask a question, Roger?
Sure. Well, I tell you what, since I only have, normally I would say no, but I'll open it up to public discussion because there's very lack of detail in this motion. And I set it up that way because to make a motion that's 3 paragraphs long is wrong. So if anybody else wants to make a comment, that's fine. So yes, go ahead, sir.
Quint Jones, Maple Grove Road. I'd just like to make a comment or ask a question. When you would do the blacktop, is that going to take care of that wet area going down the hill where everything from the mine on the right-hand side of the road going toward Balger would be coming out onto the road? And would they be like putting a French drain in there to catch the water that's going in underneath the road and coming up in the middle?
Yeah, their intentions were to go out with the backhoe and, I don't know if anybody heard it, I felt that. Dig a ditch through the road where the water runs off to the side, put a French drain in and blacktop over top of it. To get rid of the water.
If I'm not wrong, Kathy said about Max Industries, is that mine drainage coming from their property, or is that a Schaefer property?
That'd be the other direction, because hill's going toward them.
Well, the hill's going down
No, I think
and the
it's-
water's coming out.
It's from Max.
But I mean, their property's all on,
The other
like,
way.
Cliff, yeah, like opposite of where Cliff Schaefer was.
Yeah.
That section there. But the water's actually, it does come up right at the crown of the road, but their intents are to dig a drainage ditch, fill it with, put a French drain in, under the road, and then blacktop over top of it. So. It's gotta be,
That's terrible.
huh?
That's terrible.
The water, you mean?
No,
Well-
that whole section of
Well,
hill.
that's the issue, is that with the water and with the fact that you can't salt a gravel road, and when the water comes up, you have ice, you have an issue. So that's one of the worst roads John plows, so that's why he was requesting if we take care of that. So, anybody else have anything you want to say? Okay, where did I leave off? Did I make one?
No, you need to make one.
Okay. Richard, you're doing great. I'm tracking. to make a motion to repair Schaefer Road by using the additional $7,500 that would have been used on the rental of the elevator machine.
I'll second that.
Okay, it's been properly moved and seconded to supply the funds to repair Schaefer Road. Roll call vote, Mrs. Donaldson?
Yes.
Mr. Curtis?
Yes.
My vote is yes. Motion carries. Next item is a motion for adoption of resolution 7-2016 to establish the form of notice for removal of certain trees in public right-of-ways. The other big thing the guys are gonna do throughout the fall is, if you've driven on any of the roads, you can't miss all the tree limbs that are coming down into the right-of-way. The township on most of the roads has a 33-foot right-of-way, some we actually have 50, it just varies. But most of the roads that they intend to work under the 33-foot. But Ms. Moore, is that in the second-class township code?
Yes, so, yes, section 2325 of the second-class township code gives the township through its board the ability to clear within its right-of-way as needed for maintenance and improvements of roads.
Any tree under 6 inches, we can cut down any given day of the week without notification. If they keep up on it, no tree ever gets over 6 inches, it's in that 33-foot right-of-way because it doesn't happen. Although there are in some places where we have trees that are in excess of 6 inches, and they are in places even along Foley Road where they are right on the edge of the road, which does create a safety issue, because if you've ever hit a tree, it's not like hitting a telephone pole. They do not give, and they will destroy your car and hurt you. So there's not too many of those trees that are on the list that'll be coming up, and they're gonna start with the small stuff and then work their way up. Again, they're gonna get McDonald to come on and help them with some of the tree trimming. So the resolution, you want to read it out?
Right, so what we've done is prepared a resolution, just a form resolution that can be used here moving forward. I know in the past on a case-by-case basis, when we've allowed for the removal of trees over 6 inches, we've done notice to property owners on a case-by-case basis. Thought it'd be easier to do it this way, so we have a form resolution that the supervisors are considering tonight that basically just sets forth what kind of notice would be given to an abutting property owner if there is a tree over 6 inches in the right-of-way which the property owner abuts that would need to be taken down. So if that is the case, it's determined that a tree would need to come down, the notice would be addressed to the owner of record. It would be mailed, U.S. first-class mail, to the address of the owner of record. The notice will include the date of the removal of the tree. The notice would be mailed at least 10 days before the date of the removal of the tree, unless in the discretion of the township the tree poses an imminent threat to health, safety, and welfare of the public, in which instance the township may remove the tree sooner and provide notice to the owner of record at the earliest practical time. But that would be in an instance only if there was a dire imminent threat. Otherwise, it would be 10 days notice. So if you pass this resolution, then this just could be used moving forward, so that whenever notice needs to be given, it would be done pursuant to this resolution.
And the tree goes to the property owner as far as the work.
Correct, so section 2325 lists what needs to be done with the tree, including the actual wood, goes to the abutting property owner. It's left for the abutting property owner. I'm sure there'd be a conversation with the property owner to figure that out, but.
There are ways from those kind of trees, but it's better, get this set up now, that way when they start marking the ones they want to cut, we can get the letters out, so.
Right.
Okay.
So that's the purpose of this resolution.
Okay. Any, you good on that? Any input?
So they
No.
said about the same.
Okay, we make a motion to adopt resolution number 7-20. I want to make sure we're good before we make a motion.
Okay. Sorry,
Are we good?
sorry, we were sorting things
I
out.
crossed my conversations, didn't I?
Sorry,
That's okay,
apologize.
that was me.
You messed us all up down here.
I do that sometimes. It's Monday, right? Okay, make a motion to adopt resolution number 7-2016 to establish the form of notice for the removal of certain trees in the public right-of-way.
I'll second.
Both said at the same time. That's great. Give it to Mary.
Who are we giving it to?
Mary, or Ms. Donaldson. Okay, it's been properly moved and seconded for the motion to adopt resolution number 7-2016 to establish the form of notice for the removal of certain trees in the public right-of-way. Roll call vote, Mrs. Donaldson.
Yes.
Mr. Curtis.
Yes.
I vote is yes. Motion carries. Is this a good motion as well? The second one, is it second?
Right, so that-
It goes hand in hand.
It goes hand in hand, but the second one would actually be authorizing, in fact, you'd be moving forward on particular roads
Okay.
with
These-
the,
these-
moving forward with the work, whereas the first one was just the form of notice.
Next item on the agenda is a motion to authorize the clearing of brush and trees in the right-of-way on the following roads: Beach Hollow, Campbell, Foley, Maple Grove, Valley View, Sunny Hill, and Babel. Eventually we'll get to the rest of them, but there's, we got two guys. Rome wasn't built in a day. Where'd I cut off again? Main is a public road or street. If trees in excess of 6 inches in diameter will be removed, notice will be given to abutting property owners pursuant resolution number 7-2016. Work will be done in compliance with section 2325 of the second-class township code. Any board discussion or input?
No.
Good with that?
Yeah.
Okay. Then I made that motion. Does anybody want a second? Because I want to read it again.
I'll second it.
Okay, it's been properly moved and seconded to authorize the clearing of brush and trees in the right-of-way on the following roads: Beach Hollow, Campbell, Foley, Maple Grove, Valley View, Sunny Hill, and Babel, because they impair the use or maintenance of the public road or street. Trees in excess of 6 inches in diameter will be removed. Notice will be given to abutting property owners pursuant to resolution number 7-2016. Work will be done in compliance with section 2325 of the second-class township code. Roll call vote. Mrs. Donaldson.
Yes.
Mr. Curtis.
Yes.
My vote is yes. Motion carries. Is there anything, we cover everything? That's good. Okay, at this time, we will open up the meeting to public discussion. Comments, please come up to the podium, state your name, address, and please limit yourself to 3 minutes.
John Duran, 3600 Duran Drive. What I'm concerned about is the large concentration of large transmission lines coming through our small area. We have MarkWest to the southwest of us. We have 2 national ones on the left. They just put one up to my brother's and up to Yorick's place. Now I get an idea that they're going to put another one right beside my house. Now, I want to know specifically if we, as a township, have any ordinances on the books that do any kind of regulation on these high-pressure transmission lines.
Talking about the underground pipes.
Yes.
So it depends on whether they're, interstate lines are governed by FERC. There's really little to nothing that a township can do related to zoning of them. And the federal government typically needs to work with the landowner. They of course have eminent domain rights if that's the case. I don't know what kind of line you're
But there
referring
are
to.
no restrictions on, or regulations on how far one of these lines can be from your house.
What kind of line are you referring to? Is it an interstate line or you?
Yes. ETP's I understand right now is going to be putting a line up below my house.
Who's putting it in?
ETP,
ETC.
Energy Transfer Partners. And I would like to know if the township has any influence on, these restrictions on how far it should be from a person's property line or how far it should be from a person's house.
From a zoning perspective, no, but there are lots of rules and regulations regarding where they can go, and basically they grade areas and determine, what can go where depending on how concentrated areas are. It's out of the local level. There is federal and state regulations. FERC in particular has a lot of laws and regulations regarding that.
I understand if you're public utilities, you have a little say, in public domain, they can go anywhere they wanna go basically. But if it isn't, then our township should, I think, develop some ordinances to regulate them.
Well, Don, we are in the process of adjusting our zoning ordinance. If we can legally put a limit distance that does not exist, unless you, if there is something that we can do, then by all means we will.
Because I know all of you have been following the news and all these eruptions from the pipelines and people being killed and property being damaged and 5 houses being blown up. And aluminum siding melting off your house a half a mile away from them. So I would just be concerned about that because if the pipeline that I'm talking about is probably gonna be southwest of me, when that's prevailing winds, it's gonna be coming right up towards my house. So do I have any recourse? Do I have any options? Or do I just have to sit back and live with the danger?
Are they, I don't know the lay of your land. Are they on your land or are they on your?
They're on some of my
On your
adjacent property,
neighboring
property line, yes.
So they're negotiating with you or your neighbor?
No,
Your neighbor,
yes.
okay. Unless you have some influence working with your neighbor's, probably negotiating the terms of where that's going to go. And like I said, there is the eminent domain option that they often have if they can't come to an agreement with the property owner. But if it's not on your property, then you don't have as much control over those negotiations.
So what you're saying, soon you people will be having discussions in the planning commission to develop new ordinances or rules?
So we've already had 2 workshops. We're in the process of sifting through to hire a land use consultant for that. We're probably 8 months out on getting it passed.
Because-
6-8 months anyway. But if there is a way, then we are allowed to. Because you gotta watch what rules you make.
Because don't the local municipalities have precedence over the state rules and regulations? Because, the research we've done, it's just like a mess with, the government and the state and federal government, their rules and regulations.
That, we'll let you, our ordinance can't, we can't override any form of state law, but if there is not a state law in existence, then we have the right, am I saying that right?
Right, most of this area is already governed by specific entities, either federal or state. I don't know that there is any room for local entities to take positions as it relates to pipelines per se. But that's certainly something, as you guys go through your zoning process, we can look into, but that's not my understanding.
The first person to ask that, and we'll try to solve that.
Okay, just one real quick.
Sure.
Does these large pipeline companies have to come to you for a permit to put it in, or do they have to get,
The only thing they get from us is if they're crossing the road.
and that's it?
There's
So they basically, they can do whatever they want to
It's
do.
all private
They
land.
deal with the landowners.
I live 200 yards from National Fuel, they just put under the highway.
Right, there are road crossing issues, they certainly have to go to the state for any waterway crossings,
Yeah,
and certain permits
right.
like that. So there is oversight at a bunch of levels, and a lot of it is, there is a lot of regulation, it's just you're not seeing it.
I'm just concerned because of the concentration of these high-powered lines coming right through a small area within 1,000 feet from one ridge to a little valley. There's at least 4 are gonna be there.
In one right away.
No. Why don't they concentrate them in one right away instead of putting multiple right of ways? One's by Andy's Candies already. There's 2 on the other, on the right, on the, maybe the northeast side of Campbell Road. And then we're gonna put another one on the other side of Andy's Candies.
We will check into it.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome. Anybody else? All right, make a motion to adjourn. Thank you, everybody. Meeting's adjourned, 7:08.